Hey everybody, another day, another project for the 4Runner. Today I'm working with Rough Country's Fender flares. I'm going to be replacing the stock matte plastic Fender flares that came on the SR5. I'm honestly just not a huge fan of that mismatch in color, the matte black with the gloss black. Some people like it, not my flavor. So these are a pretty inexpensive option. These run, I want to say about like 350 bucks out the door with shipping and everything like that. So pretty good choice if you just want to get your hands on a paint matched option. They do custom paint matching, and I think that adds like an extra $300 out the door. So luckily I've just got the gloss black 4Runner, so these should match pretty good. I'll actually hold this up close. You can kind of see the color and the gloss on these Fender flares. So I think it's going to be a pretty nice match. I'm going to have to hold it up to the vehicle and the light, obviously, and make sure it is a good match before I install them. Other than that, just comes with some rubber trim that goes around the upper edge. That's really nice. It'll help keep the water and the dirt out, which the OEM Fenders don't come with. Comes with a hardware kit and also some mounting brackets here. Looks like that's for the two back doors, passenger doors. So anyway, should be a fun project. I'll continue the video as I'm installing them. So if you guys decide to do this yourself, you already have a little reference on how to install them. Let's go do it. So first we got to peel off the this little protective cover. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that really quick. All right, so it says to take 2 to 3 inches of this red stuff and peel it back. And then it says the adhesive part goes basically on the upper lip on the back side of the portion that's actually going to touch the car. So let's do it like this. Okay, yeah, it's kind of obvious once you get it going how that goes. All right, so I'm going to try to show you kind of how I'm installing this. Let's see. Okay, so try to get a light on it here. All right, so you can kind of see the difference between this, which I got seated on there, and then this part. See how there's kind of a lip? So what I'm doing, let's see if I can get it, just kind of get it initially placed on there. And then I'm just coming back with my thumb on this inner lip right here and just kind of guiding it along the surface of the flare. And that's kind of popping the weather stripping on there. Let's see if I can get a good view here. Yeah, this might show you a pretty good view. Let's see. All right. So as you go, it just kind of pops it out. So just work it so that it gets to be a lip over there. Once you get that, then you just push the backside, kind of clamp it so that adhesive gets a nice stick to the inside of the flare. So far, that seems to be working the best. Okay, step one's done. Remove the mud flap. So there's 2 screws right here. I'm going to start by removing those. Man, this is tough to find like a screwdriver that'll fit. So I'm basically just using a socket wrench with a screw bit. It's working pretty good. Came right off. Okay. Number 2. The third one is right. Let's see if you can see it right there. That's going to be the third screw. So okay. So now I just need to remove this little pop rivet there. Like, just like that. Easy enough. It just slides right off. Easy enough. Okay, now we're going to remove the old flare. So there's 10. It's a 10 millimeter socket. There should be 10 bolts to remove. These are pretty loose, actually. Oh, there's only 7. Not 10. 7. Last one right here, I believe. All right, it says use a pry tool for these 2 little screws right here, right there, and right there. So let's see how this goes, because there's also, looks like a little screwdriver. Oh. Let me try something real quick. See if a screwdriver has anything to do with it. I don't know. All right, so they do just pop out. See if I can get. There we go. Yeah, I didn't want to damage them, but that one looks like it's out. Yeah, that one's out. This one. Oh, yeah, looks okay still. All right, well, that's a little scary. But it's essentially just some clips in there. So that's what's getting pulled. These white clips. Luckily, they all stayed intact. So if I ever want to, I don't know if you can see that, but these white clips. So I'm going to leave mine all intact in case I ever want to throw these back on there. All right, just so when this thing gets all sealed up, there's no dirt and stuff in here. I'm just going to do a little house cleaning here. I'll hit this all up with a little compressed air just to get all the water out of there. So it's not sitting there, but even if there is some under there, I don't think it's a big deal. Okay, so the next step, there's these brackets that come with them. There's two of them. We're doing the driver's side left-hand front. So you can see the label there shows left-hand front. So we're going to take these number 14 U-clips and put them on as shown on the instructions. So they're a little bit tough to get on. So what I found, hopefully you can see this, I just take a screwdriver, pop it in there, just kind of get that thing opened up a little bit. Once you do, it's a lot easier to get that thing on there. And I don't know if you can see from the side, this one's got the lip. That's going to go on the inside, same side as the stickers. That's kind of the way it looks like it goes according to the instructions. So let's see if I can get this thing on here. So I'm going to turn it on the screwdriver like this. Once that's there, it'll slide right on there, and it'll save your fingers a lot of wear and tear if you use that screwdriver. A little easier to get on there. And then I just use the screwdriver again, push it on there. Let's see, it's not quite wanting to go all the way. So there it goes. There's kind of a lip on the bottom part of the clip there, so I just lifted that up with the screwdriver. Now it's fully seated in there. That's it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take this bracket, and it's going to line up with the two uppermost bolt holes where we just removed. Let's see, so I think it's going to go like this. Yeah. So essentially what it's doing is relocating those two bolts to be down here. So let's start this one right there. All right, now for the fun part. Hopefully I don't get in the way too much, but we actually get to start lining up the flare. Let's see, so you take a couple of these bolts, hopefully I don't get in the way too much. So what I'm going to do is just line up, if I can, the bottommost bolt. Maybe I can rest it on my shoulder. I think I got one. Okay, so I got the bottom two holding it. Let's see if I can get the rest. Okay. That one. You really got to push on them while you're doing this for that front side anyway. Okay. All right, well, show you this part. So I'm gonna have to kind of undo this. See how the weather stripping got tucked in behind it. I'm gonna have to fix that. Yep. Unfortunately, so what we're gonna do is just unscrew these ones. That's probably why I was having such a hard time getting that in there. Oops. Do that. Okay. Unscrew that one. Okay. Now let's get this back on there. There we go. All right, now that's back on. It looks a lot better. So now, get this thing lined back up like that. That looks solid. Boom. Yeah, that looks much better. All right. I actually kind of skipped this part in the instructions, but I've got to assume that 2 screws go in here. That one's in. All right, not the easiest. It's 1 screw. Okay, I think I got it. All right, we got it. Woo! Man, that was a pain in the butt. All right. Man, but doesn't that look good already? Yeah, looks much better. All right, so now it says to push up against the flare as you're tightening all the rest of them. So I'm going to kind of do this in like a little bit of a star pattern. Make sure they all kind of tighten. All right, so push hard. This right there. All right, there's one down. I'm going to do this side. There she is. Done deal. All right, so we're going to continue on today with the rear fender flares, starting on the right hand side of the vehicle, passenger side. So first thing we got to do is go ahead and remove the mud flap. So we start with these two screws right here. Same setup as yesterday, just the socket wrench with a Phillips bit in there. All right. All right, so on the back side, there's these two bolts right here, 10 millimeter. Takes a little bit smaller wrench to get to that, so I got the small wrench. It's an extension, and that seems to do the trick. There it is. All right, so next step is to remove this bolt and these two little plugs, whatever you call those things. So again, just a little 10 millimeter here. And then just a little pry tool for these things. Pretty easy. Okay, so now we remove the fender flare. I think everything's already taken off that needs to be, so you open the door, just start at this side, and just pop the clips. There it goes. Okay, should be it. One more, I think, right here. Oh, actually, looks like there's maybe one more clip. This wasn't on the instructions. Let's see. So it looks like you got to pop that little guy out and get my tool. Yeah, that was not very easy to get. Let's see. There it goes. Oh, look at that. Came right off. So there you go. That was not on the instructions. So that's all removed now. You can see what that looks like. And I'm going to go ahead and wash that just like I did on the front. All right, so next thing we do is we got to line up the flare, and then we take a grease pencil and we mark this bracket basically right where the hole is, and then that's where we're going to slide the U-clip over that. So I'll try to line this up as best I can. I got a light in the wheel well so I can try to see when these holes are all lining up nicely. Let's see. Now what would I mark? Okay, well, I was kind of able to mark the back side of the bracket. Not very good, but I'm just going to try to kind of carry that over here. It's kind of good, you know. So I have a feeling what's going to happen is we're going to try to start installing these, and then I'm just going to have to kind of move this bracket around. All right, so just to show you a little close up of what that looks like, there's the mark that I made. Here's the long U-clip. So the only way that I found that that makes any sense is to kind of put it on like that, but it doesn't really seem like it's like gripping anything. So I have no idea if I'm doing that right. The instruction booklet is in black and white and it doesn't show a very good picture. And unfortunately, the ones online, when I click on the instruction manual, it gets an error message. So it's not very helpful, but that's why I'm making this video. So we'll figure it out together. All right, so now we move from there over to this little hole right here. Basically, looks like all we're gonna do, there's these little Mylar tab things, sticky on one side. So we're just gonna put that over the little metal tab. It says install a supplied Mylar tab over metal tab in Fender, centering over the hole. So yeah, let's try it. All right, here's that. And hopefully I don't get my big old head in the way. I'm just gonna do my best to center it like it says. So we're gonna do it like that. That's it. Then it says install a supplied number 14 U-clip over the Mylar tab installed in the last step. So U14, I'm gonna make sure I got the right one. It is, so it's the same one that we used on the previous Fender. It kind of looks like this. It's got those long little eye holes in the back, so that's what we're going to use. Let's see how we do this. So in the picture, it looks like they're going from inside to outside. So try it like this. Let's see. Well, I'm going to grab a screwdriver, do the same thing I did with the last one, kind of open it up a little bit. Okay, so back to it. I kind of recentered the Mylar tab thing. I basically made the edge line up with the edge of the fender well, and that basically makes this go right up against the metal, so it's not as hard to kind of get that thing where it's supposed to be. I'm not sure if that's lining up perfectly or not. So first thing we do is we start with one of these screws. They call it a let's see, they call it a number 10 truss head screw, and they want you to start with this. So we'll try it out. Here we go. Man, I don't know. See, this thing just fell right off. I don't understand that at all. That seems pointless. I'm almost tempted to come back and just do it after I get the other ones put on. So I'm going to do it this way and see if that works or not. There we go. But okay. Okay. That might actually work better. All right, I think I got it. Got it. So I think that's the way to do it, is put these two bolts in first so you're not trying to hold that thing up. Don't know if that thing is useful or not. Okay, so basically now we just put one of these little, we call it a Christmas tree thing. I don't know. Let's see what they call it. Let's be scientific about this. What is it? It is a Christmas tree fastener. Beautiful. All right. So now this one goes just in this bottom one here. I can get it to line up right there. Boom. That's super easy. That's the best part of the whole thing. So now, basically what it says is just push up against the fender flare as you're installing everything else, just like it did in the front. I think that'll kind of bring this back a little bit. So let's try that. Yeah, I think all that clip does is just keeps this, if it gets like snagged on anything, just kind of keeps it. But it is kind of holding, so I take it back. Maybe it's not retarded. Maybe there's a purpose for it, but there we go. Done. On to the next one. Boom. It's pretty snug. Let's see how the door closes. Look at that. Door closes nicely. All right. All right, moving on to the door fender flare. So first thing we do is remove the old. We're just going to remove that little plug, not plug, fastener, I guess you call them. They're pretty small, so I don't know if this thing's even really going to work. This pry tool. So I'm probably just going to break it. There we go. Well, that probably didn't work. Yeah, it kind of did. All right. Those ones are tough. I just broke them. Whatever. Hopefully I won't ever need them again. So, all right. Now it says basically just pull this off. I think there's some. Oh, well, that was easy. Dang. That just came right off. All right. Inner door piece. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing set up. You take a couple of these U10 clips, you can just match them up with the instruction booklet. They're just like the other ones, just a little bit bigger. So we put these on the bottom right here, just like this. Let's see if it has, it looks like the flat side goes on the bottom. So not flat, flat. We're going to put the flat side on the bottom. Not really matching up very good. Let's see. Yeah, they almost don't fit perfect. Let's see. So this might be where you need a file, kind of file this down a little bit. I'm going to go with it and just see what happens, but I'm going to try to squeeze these together a little bit because they're not really staying. Okay, well, maybe we'll get some pliers and do that. Let's see. Fat side of the clip will face out. Oh, there's 3 of them. Okay, so all 3 holes should have one of those. So I got to go get another one. I'll be right back. All right, I got another one. So what I'm going to do with these, see how they're kind of already open a little bit? I'm actually going to see if I can squeeze them closed a little bit so they hold on better. That looks like it worked. So let's try that with this one too. And the third one. Okay, let's see. I don't know if that did anything, but we will see. Yeah, it was kind of holding on. But as you can see, still just doesn't, let's see, get a good angle. Doesn't quite align perfectly. There's still a little black lip inside there. So I have a feeling I'm going to have to take a Dremel and just file those puppies down a little bit so these line up better. There's that one. Yeah, because I can already see the screw's not going to go in there. So maybe I'll just go do that right now and save myself the trouble later. But you can see the directions right there, like the hole lines up pretty good. So I think I'm going to file that down before I get too far and have to undo everything. So let's go do that. All right, so I double checked all the other clips just to make sure I wasn't using the wrong one, and I'm not. So what I did, I got my little Dremel with just basically a file on it, and I'm just going to take it down slowly and then use the clip to make sure that like I'm not going too far or anything, just doing it, working my way really slow. So here we go. There we go. Like a glove. So I'm not going to bore you with making you watch me do the other 2, but I'm basically going to do the same thing. Just wanted to show you this one. So this one actually took quite a bit. This was all flush, but as you can see, I had to file quite a bit of that out of there. And then putting that on there, it lines up perfectly. So we'll see. Hopefully I didn't just screw that up. All right, back to it. So go ahead and put these U-clips back in place. Flat side on the bottom. Everything's lining up now, looking nice. Doink. And doink. And the clips are staying on. Just took these, clamped them closed a little bit, and so they'll stay in place a little bit better. All right, on to the next step, which says, fold each red tape leader towards upper outside of part. So they've got this like that. This is facing down in the instructions, and they're just basically kind of doing this. All right. So now they have it like this kind of deal. So I guess they're just kind of wanting you to get them started. doesn't really say like what you're supposed to do with these, but all right, and then it has you marking them with a Sharpie 1, 2, and 3, but it doesn't tell you which one to mark, like what number. So I'm gonna see if I can figure it out, but that's pretty much what you do. Hopefully you can see a good picture of that. Yep. All right. So I'm back outside. All right. So this part is pretty crucial. This is gonna keep your fender flare aligned. So I did an initial placement. I'm just gonna try to kind of show a couple things, like this lip right here. Let's see, right here goes around. Let's see, that bend in the door. So when it's lined up, it's kind of hard to do. Okay, so when it's lined up, it'll look like that, nice and snug around there. And then this should basically be flush with the door. Let me see if I can show you that part. So maybe this is a good angle, but let's see. So you can kind of see this top part is flush. There we go. Is flush with the door itself. And then when it's lined up, obviously it should be able to close pretty easily. Let's see. There we go. So hold it like that. And you can see it should be all lined up. So I'm going to actually have my wife kind of help me keep that thing aligned while I peel the tape off. So I'm going to go grab her. All right, so just before I do the final stick on, just show you what that looks like. This is the part that lines up with the bottom part of the door, and then this kind of just goes along the bottom part of the door. So here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna hold this in place and just have my wife peel the tape off. So go ahead, babe, start with number 1. Okay, so I'm gonna push. All right, go ahead and do number 2. Okay. Numero trace. Okay, that's all I needed. Thank you. All right, now it says to hold it in place for 30 seconds. Oh no, mosquito. Get him. Oh, I think I got him. Yeah, die. Hate mosquitoes. All right, so it says to hold it in place for 30 seconds. 30 seconds is long enough for it to have a good grasp. And then it cures after 24 hours at 65 degrees. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of double check everything. To me, it looks good. It's nice and aligned with the side of the door. And I'm gonna shut the door. It looks nice and parallel. So hopefully that's right, because it's all the marbles right there, I think. All right, so now we put the fender flare on. Just working this first one in, but take it out so you can see it. So there's the piece that we put on. And just gonna get this one started and then work on getting the rest of them aligned as I go. Okay, that one. Let's see. There's this one. All right. This one. It's kind of tough. There we go. Yeah, this one. Kind of tough to get it all to line up, honestly. All right, now for the moment of the truth. Does it line up? Man, that's pretty good. I don't know. I don't see anything wrong with that alignment. So, boom. Nailed it. Looks pretty uniform. I think that's all you can ask for right there. Just checking the weather stripping. Everything looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten it down. There we have it. That looks fantastical. All the way under. I think that looks pretty good. I like it. All right, just for comparison, there's the original. That's the left side. There we go. Boom. I think that looks awesome. Okay, now we just do the other side.